Hi friends, in this video we will see how to build your own mail server using your own VPS machine on DigitalOcean and Webmin Web Hosting Manager. So if you are ready, let's start together. In order to follow up with me in this course, you need two main things: a DigitalOcean account and a domain name, because we are going to create our VPS machine on DigitalOcean. If you don't want to follow up, you can just watch the course and understand the concept so you can build your server later on. Let's start by creating a new droplet and installing virtualmin on Ubuntu 18.0. Let's start by creating a new droplet here. Just select Ubuntu and let's go down. I will select this configuration, it's okay, that's enough. And select a region and go down. Let's give it a name, as an example, vmin, and click create. Now let's wait a little bit for the droplet to be created. It may take several seconds. Alright, so here we are. This is the machine created and this is the IP address. Let's copy the IP address and we have to access it using PuTTY, using SSH protocol. If you remember, we have to go to my email and check my credentials. So let's now open PuTTY and paste the IP here and click open. Yes, and let's now log in using the root account. And here is the password in my email. Just paste it. It will ask you to reset the password immediately. Just enter the current password again and enter your new password and retype it. Nothing hard here, it's very simple operation. Now to install virtualmin also is very simple. Just execute this command line here to get the installation files from the virtualmin website. As I mentioned in the introduction, this is an open source software. It's totally free and it has a professional version if you want, about $6 per month. But now we're going to go with the free version. It's enough to manage our mail server. Let's get this, and now let's run the installation script. Just run sudo and give the install script and run it. It will say yes, why, and continue. It will tell you to enter a fully qualified domain name. It's a prerequisite. Let's enter it. I will say vmin.mydomain. I will go to GoDaddy here. I have a domain I purchased before. It's just for testing. It's newxweb.net. Just enter here newxweb.net and run the installation. It will start downloading and installing virtualmin on my Ubuntu server. I think the installation process is very simple. It's just a bunch of commands. I will paste these commands in the description of this lecture. You can get it and go with your installation in your own environment. Now let's pause the video and I will come back when it's finished. Alright, awesome. The installation succeeded and everything is fine. You can see here it says installation completed, and to configure the server you can access it through the host name or my domain name or using the IP address. So let's test this. I will get the IP address again, and in the browser let's run HTTPS and pass the IP address, and now let's use port 10,000. I think it's 10,000, yes, 10,000. Let's run it and it says SL warning. It's okay, we'll fix this later. And very nice. So this webmin and login screen to our server. Alright, now let's do some basic configuration to our server. The first thing I will do is to map my domain name so I can access my server using my domain and not my IP address. So let's go back to my GoDaddy and let's find my domain here, and then let's go to manage my DNS zone. We did that before. Let's go to recap. Okay, now in the a value at, just edit this and remove the park, remove the point to, and get your IP address here and simply paste it and save this record. And give your DNS some time just to migrate records and update the values. Alright, so let's test our configuration. I will paste my domain name here and let's run again. And very nice. Now we can access our web server using my domain name. It's newxweb.net. Of course, your domain name will be different from me. It's my testing domain name. Okay, now let's log in. To log in, you use the root credentials that you entered when we installed our server for the first time. Let's log in. And the first time you log in, it will ask you for a post-installation wizard. It's some basic configuration you have to set to your server. So let's go with this wizard, click on next, and the first thing it asks you about some options to optimize your performance. Like it asks, do you want to preload virtual min libraries? If yes, it will be faster, but it will use more memory. I will use this for me because I have about 1 GB or 2 GB of memory. It's enough for me. If your server is somehow about 500 MB or you don't have enough resources, you can turn both off if you want. I will keep those yes for me for high performance and click on next. Now the second option is if you want to enable the virus scanning. It's very important to enable virus scanning if you are using your mail server. So even if it uses about 600 MB of memory, it's good to enable this. Click on next. Also, the spam assistant is very important. It's a spam filter for your mail server. So also I will enable this and click on next. Maybe if you are using your web server for hosting only websites, maybe you will not use spam filter. But since we are going to use our mail server and create emails and send and receive emails, it's important. It's very important to enable the spam filter. Here you can enable or disable database servers. Here we have two types of servers. We have MariaDB MySQL server and PostgreSQL server. So if you are not willing to install any websites, any databases on this web server, you can turn both off. If you are going to use only for emails, only as a mail server, you can turn those off. But if you want to install a certain website, maybe like WordPress, maybe your PHP website, maybe another website, you have to enable these types of databases if you are using both. For me, I will install only WordPress for testing later on in this course, so I will enable only MySQL server. I will not use PostgreSQL, so you can turn it off. Click on next, and here you can set your MySQL password. This is the password. Let's copy it and save it in a notepad just to use it later on. This is the MySQL password. Alright, saved on the desktop. Pass. Alright, let's minimize and continue. I think it's somehow simple. Now it will ask you about some configuration about the size of your database. For me, I will use a medium system because I'm going to install only one website for testing only. If this, as I told you before, if this is a web server where you will install multiple websites, maybe high processing websites, you will need a huge system or a large. It's up to you. It's up to your configuration. Here we are going to use a mail server and a small website, so medium is enough. Click on next. And here you can set the DNS configuration. I will keep everything as it is. My DNS zone is in GoDaddy, so I will not use this very much. I will skip the check. Alright, click on next. I will not use the internal DNS zone. And here is a very important option. It asks you to store your passwords in a hashed form or in a plain text. It's very recommended to use hashed passwords only, so your passwords will be secured, especially if you are using mailboxes and emails. it is strongly recommended to use hashed passwords. Alright, so we are completed. Let's click on next. I think it's an easy operation, just choose the correct options for your situation. Now it will ask you to recheck your configuration for any errors or so. Let's recheck and refresh configuration, and it will check everything and tell you if there is any problem. I hope everything is fine. Okay, it's updating. Very nice. So everything is okay and my server now is working. We are ready to create an account, mailboxes, and test everything and much more. So let's start by creating a virtual server. You can think of a virtual server as an account in cPanel. You have to create a virtual server, give a domain name, and then inside that virtual server you can create accounts, mailboxes, and so on. So simply click on Create Virtual Server, and here we are. Enter your domain name. I will use the same domain name of my server. You can use another one if you want, but let's now keep this testing domain name so we can continue. Set a description if you want, and let's set the administrator password for this account or for this virtual server. You can select a server configuration template. We have the default settings here. You can create a template and use them when you create virtual servers. I will not go in details now, and this is the default plan if you are using multiple plans, also if you are selling accounts or so on. Now you can set a custom username here or keep it automatic. I will use a custom one. I will name it UX Web. And now here in the advanced options section, you can enter the contact email address, or it will use the main administrator mailbox. You can set a group name. You can set a prefix for the mail usernames. I will keep everything as automatic. It's better now. Go to enable features. Here you can set up a DNS zone. You can set up an SSL website too for this virtual server. Just take a note that this virtual server is not only for mailing. You can host on websites, databases, besides your mailboxes. So we have a lot of features that we are not concerned now in my course. Just now click on Create Server to continue creating our virtual server. Let's wait for several seconds. And very nice. Now we have a virtual server. You can see now we are inside the virtual server uxweb.net. This is the domain name of my virtual server. So now we can create email boxes. Simply to do this, go to Edit Users and let's create a new email address. Now simply click Add a user to this server. So the Add User wizard will open. Let's enter an email address. I will say as an example, support. The real name is maybe my name. Simply enter a password. And you can set a recovery password if you want. Let's go to the second option. You can select a home directory for this email address. Let's keep it automatic. We have the email settings. You can set this primary email address to enabled. You can add additional email addresses. Also, you can check this email for spam and viruses. It's somehow obvious options. You can set the mail forwarding settings. You can forward your mail inbox to other emails if you want. Also, it's not my concern for now. I want to configure my mail server to use it as my own mailbox. Here you can set other permissions like access to web directories, access to databases. So this user can access certain databases on your server or web directories. Okay, click Create now. It's very simple. And here we are. We have a new email address, support@uxweb.net. Very nice. As you can see here, we have a login access, email only. We don't need FTP and SSH and all other stuff related to websites and my server. Very nice. Let's test our email. Let's send and receive using Roundcube webmail client. But you have to know that by default, Roundcube will not be installed on this virtual min server or webmin server. So to do this, to install Roundcube, simply we go to install scripts in the left pane here, and in the available scripts tab or section, click on Roundcube and select the latest version. Also, you can install Squirrel Mail if you want, but I prefer Roundcube. So just check it and show install options, and now click on install now. Very simple. The process is automated and everything will be done automatically. Just wait a little bit. Very nice. So let's go back to virtual server details, and now we have Roundcube installed. Now to open Roundcube, let's go again to install scripts, and you will find in the install scripts section that we have installed Roundcube. Let's open it, and you can find the installed URL, which is http my domain name or your domain name /roundcube. And you can see the database is used here, nextweb_roundcube, and the public directory or the installation directory. Alright, so to access Roundcube now, just copy this URL. Let's copy it and paste it here. So here we are in Roundcube login page. I will enter my email, which is support@uxweb.net, and enter your password or my password, and let's log in. Now let's compose an email. Click compose, and let's enter my email address and test email. This is a test email from Webmin. Let's now try to send this email. Click on send. Oops, and we have an error. It says SMTP error 454, authentication failed. If you face this error when you are using Roundcube with Webmin, I will show you a small hotfix for this. Simply let's go back to our server and go to File Manager, and let's go to Roundcube, then config, and we have the configuration.inc.php file. Just right click, go to edit, and edit this file. And here we have two parameters, the username and the password. Just remove these inputs and keep it as empty to use the credentials we are logging in with. Save this, close, and let's go back to Roundcube, and now let's send this email. And very nice, the message was sent successfully. So this was a little tip if you face this authentication problem in Roundcube with Webmin. Okay, so we send the email. Let's now go to my inbox to see if this email was received successfully. So let's open Gmail and open my inbox, and it may be in the spam folder. It's okay because we didn't configure SPF and DKIM records. Okay, open the spam, and here we are. This is support@nextweb.net. Let's open it, and here is my email sent from my own mail server. Hi friends, congratulations on building your own mail server. So the first thing you have to do in your server, let's go and click edit virtual server. Here we are. Let's go now down and click on enabled features, and be sure to check Apache SSL website enabled. Just check it and click save virtual server. Very simple till now. Now your server will refresh. Just wait a little bit. Now, from the server configuration, this is the second step. Go to Manage SSL Certificates. This option will not appear except if you enable Apache SSL in the first step. So let's click on this. And now we have multiple options. You can create a signing request for a certain authority. You can create a self-signed certificate, which is not recommended, except if you are testing. You can update a certificate and a key if you have already one. You can choose a certain certificate authority. Now we need Let's Encrypt because we need a free certificate. You can see these are the domains associated with this virtual server. This will be encrypted with SSL certificate. You can set also the renewal will be automatic, or you can set a period where you want to enable manual renewal. Now click on request certificate. Let's wait a little bit. And awesome. As you can see now, everything is okay and we have a new certificate for our domain name. So let's go back to virtual server summary and let's now try to access our website again using HTTPS with a new certificate. I will open now Firefox browser and let's try to access my server again. And very nice. As you can see now, our server is secured with a full SSL or a trusted SSL certificate from Let's Encrypt. You can see this here. Very nice. I hope this lecture was helpful. If you need any help, if you face any error while doing anything, configuring your server, please contact me and I'll be with you anytime. Alright, now I will show you how to connect to your mail server through Outlook. I know I already showed you that in the cPanel section, in the mail in a box section, but I like every time to show you everything so if we face a problem, to understand and to know how we resolve it. So simply, let's go down here and go to email settings and go to mail client configuration. You can see here we can configure auto configuration. I will say yes, enable it and click on save. Very nice. Let's wait and here we are. Now the mail client configuration is enabled. I will open Outlook 2016 and try to connect to my mail server. So let's go to file here in Outlook and click add account. And let's enter my name and my email address, txswap.net, and simply enter your password and click on next. Let's wait. And awesome. As you can see, everything was automated. Just enter your email and password and everything will be configured automatically. Click now on finish and now here is my account. We can work normally with Outlook. As you can see, we have an email sent by my Gmail account. So here how you can enable auto configuration in your webmin or your virtual min server and connect through Outlook. Awesome! Congratulations on finishing this awesome video. Now you learned how you can build your own mail server using your own VPS machine and Webmin web hosting manager system. I hope you got some benefit and the course was helpful for you. Please, if you need any help, comment below or contact me directly on my website or my Facebook page.